So it's been a while since I covered a new device on this channel, and it's time to change that. But certainly it is not possible if the delivery is delayed by a week. Thanks Flipkart for that. But anyways, let's dive deeper into this late retail unit of the POCO X3 Pro and my early impressions with this device. The last POCO device that I covered on this channel was the POCO X2, and it was a good value for money budget smartphone at that time. And I have similar expectations from this one as well. So we have some specs mentioned on this similar looking box of the POCO X3 Pro, and it has that Snapdragon 860 processor, which is a slightly overclocked version of the 855 Plus. And let's see how well this one does in day-to-day life. Anyways, unboxing the device first, and in the smaller box we have our usual TPU case and a user manual. The case is of similar okayish quality, but glad that it's still in the box. After that we have the device itself in this graphite black color, and we'll get to that in just a bit. Let's keep digging for more stuff now. Next we have a 33 watt brick that supports USB power delivery, and for you it means a simple thing. You can use this charger for many small and bigger devices that supports PD, which is fantastic at this price. Next we have a USB A to C charging cable, and that's it. Let's come back to the device now, and this dual tone matte color is fine. Since it is a plastic bag, of course, it does not look premium at all, and similar is the case with this POCO branding. But it still looks less flashy than the one on POCO X3, but I would not settle with this and apply a grippy leather or a wooden skin on it. And now it looks a lot better and less flashy. And by the way, the links to the skin is in the description area itself, so feel free to check it out. Now in this case, it's what's inside that matters the most. Turning on the device now, and in meanwhile, let's check the specs quickly. So this POCO X3 Pro has a 6.67-inch Full HD Plus IPS LCD panel with a 120Hz refresh rate that supports HDR10 by the way. Which is fine at this price, but I would have paid extra for an AMOLED panel, be it a 90Hz one. Moving further, we have a 20 megapixel front facing camera on the top with dual stereo speakers. On the bottom, we have a USB Type-C port that supports 33 watt fast charging with the inbox charger. Apple. On the back, we have a 48 megapixel primary camera, an 8 megapixel ultra wide, and let's be honest, a trash 2 megapixel camera which you will forget after 10 minutes or so. We also have dual mics as usual and a fingerprint scanner too. And volume buttons are also on the right hand side. Inside we have a Snapdragon 860 with 6GB of LPDDR4X RAM and 128GB of UFS 3.1 storage, which is good too. And lastly, we have IP53 splash proof rating with this one, though I won't trust it that much, but it's good to have some IP rating at this price. Lastly, we have dual SIM support, and the storage here is expandable too. And I almost forgot, Mr. Jack is here too. And that's pretty much it. Now that the device is almost set, we'll try to keep everything to off during the setup process. And if you want a video on first things to do after setting up this device, well, let me know in the comment section down below. And while you are at it, a tap on that subscribe button would be really helpful to the channel. Okay, so the display looks quite good, and I am using it on 120Hz now. Though the blacks aren't that deep if I compare it with an AMOLED panel, but the display looks fine overall and gets plenty bright. The punch hole here is quite small, smaller than the Redmi Note 9 Pro Max of last year, and overall it is fine, as at least it is free from tint issues and whatnot. The UI on this device is MIUI 12 running on Android 11 out of the box, and it is not the latest MIUI 12.5, but an update will surely come sometime later. And though I like MIUI for all the features it provides, I am not a fan of how it looks as such. You also get some bloatware and a bit of installed apps that can be removed, yes. So I would advise you to turn off the recommendations and everything to have a cleaner experience as such. And though I don't see any ads in the UI, which is to be expected from this POCO clean experience. And this might be a deal breaker for some, but like other phones these days, this one also has a Google Dialer and messaging app, which might be good for privacy as such, but it also does this.
This call is now being recorded. Call recording has now ended. Welcome.
So you don't get a normal call recorder, which some of you might find annoying, as similar was the case for OnePlus phones. So I hope you will keep that in mind too, and let me know in case you need an alternative dialer app. Rest, the performance seems really snappy as it is a flagship grade SoC, be it an older one. And I ran some benchmark tests too. So on the Geekbench, the device scores 781 in single core and 2042 in the multi-core score, which is great for a budget device under 20,000 rupees. So as far as the performance is concerned, my initial impressions with this device are quite positive, and the device can handle almost anything you throw at it. Thanks to the good specs, you can expect the similar for gaming too, as it has a 120Hz touch sampling rate, which means a better touch response when you need it the most. Coming to the cameras now, so the primary sensor is a 48 megapixel Sony IMX582, which is a kind of downgrade from the Poco X3 to be honest. And this is quite close to what Sony IMX586 offers. And here are some camera samples from this device. So the device takes some good photos in ample light with a good amount of detail, and the colors are also quite close to the real life in most scenarios. And you can see the amount of details. It is not the finest, but really not that bad for a budget phone, as I have seen other phones performing similar at this price point. If I compare it with OnePlus Nord, well, it is quite close, and I found the focusing speed better on this one for sure. In the front-facing camera, it does really well too. The details are something I wish it had somewhat more, but if you are not pixel peeping much, the images are really passable and in fact look better than what I get with the OnePlus Nord, as that device has a okayish front-facing camera, and this produces at least better looking images than that to be honest. And if you want a full comparison, just let me know in the comment section, alright. The portrait mode shots also look fine and have a great subject separation with decent bokeh level that can be adjusted too. And other three cameras are okayish to bad, so let's not talk about them as they are here to give company to that primary sensor. And that's it. So overall the cameras are quite good and it's really passable at this price point. Other tiny things like that fingerprint scanner is blazing fast, and I have no issues with that as such for sure. The stereo speakers are slightly tinny as per my liking, but are loud enough with decent stereo separation overall. Also the battery life is something I'll comment on later, so stay tuned for the future videos, alright. To sum up my initial impressions, well, I'm quite happy with this device, as it offers pretty much everything apart from that UI, which I wish was stock like. And this device would have nailed all the aspects of a solid budget device at 20,000 rupees, but that's just me it seems. Anyways, that's it for now. These were my first impressions with this Poco X3 Pro, so do give this video a thumbs up if you like it and subscribe for more tech content like this one, and I'll see you in the next one.